When you picture the most powerful pirate in history, who comes to mind? Is it the infamous Blackbeard, his beard smoldering with lit fuses, a terrifying specter of the Caribbean? Or perhaps a fictional terror like Captain Hook, forever dueling with a boy who wouldn't grow up? These figures dominate our imagination, symbols of a lawless golden age of piracy. But the truth is, they were small-time operators compared to the real titan of the seas. The most successful and powerful pirate commander the world has ever known wasn't a man at all. It was a Chinese woman, a woman who, at her peak, commanded a fleet of over 1,800 ships and an army of more than 80,000 pirates. Meet Qing Shi, the pirate queen who ruled the South China Sea in the early 1800s, building an empire on the waves that humbled nations and rewrote the rules of power. Her story isn't just one of piracy, it's a masterclass in strategy, leadership, and survival. To understand her rise, we must go back to late 18th century Canton, modern-day Guangzhou. This was the beating heart of Chinese maritime trade, the sole port where Western merchants were permitted to operate. It was a city of immense wealth, teeming with silk, porcelain, and tea, but also a place of staggering poverty and rigid social hierarchy. It was here, around 1775, that a girl named Xu Yang was born. We know little of her earliest years, but as a young woman, she worked as a prostitute in one of Canton's floating brothels. For a woman of her station, life was precarious, with few paths to escape poverty or gain autonomy. But Xu Yang possessed a sharp intellect and a keen understanding of the men who frequented her establishment, merchants, sailors, and officials. She learned the art of negotiation, manipulation, and survival in a world that offered her very little. Her life took a dramatic turn in 1801. Her beauty and reputation had caught the attention of a man named Zheng Yi, the commander of a formidable pirate fleet. Accounts differ on how they met. Some say he raided her brothel and was captivated by her. Others suggest she orchestrated the meeting, seeing an opportunity. What is known is that she didn't just become his captive or wife, she negotiated. Xu Yang agreed to marry Zheng Yi on one condition, that she be given an equal share in the leadership and spoils of his pirate enterprise. He agreed. With this marriage, Xu Yang, the prostitute from Canton, became Qing Shi, wife of Zheng. Together they were a powerhouse. Zheng Yi was a skilled commander, but Qing Shi was a brilliant strategist. She helped him unite the disparate, competing pirate gangs of the coast into a massive confederation. This alliance, known as the Red Flag Fleet, was divided into 6 squadrons, each identified by a colored flag: red, black, white, blue, yellow, and green. Zheng Yi and Qing Shi commanded the largest and most powerful of them all, the Red Flag Fleet itself. During this time, they also adopted a young fisherman's son named Chung Po Tsai, who quickly proved to be a capable sailor and became a favorite of Zheng Yi, rising through the ranks. For 6 years, the Pirate Confederation flourished under their joint command, their power growing with every raid. But in 1807, fate intervened. Zheng Yi died unexpectedly, lost at sea during a typhoon. At 32, Qing Shi was a widow. In the brutal world of piracy, a leader's death typically meant chaos, with lieutenants fighting for control and fleets splintering. Many expected her to fade into obscurity, her influence gone with her husband. They gravely underestimated her. Qing Shi moved with breathtaking speed and political genius. She knew her authority as a woman was fragile. Her first move was to secure the loyalty of the most powerful man left, her adopted son, Chung Po Tsai. He was respected by the pirates and had inherited command of the Red Flag Fleet. By forming a strategic and personal alliance with him, soon becoming lovers, she solidified his loyalty and combined his operational command with her strategic vision. Next, she confronted the other pirate commanders. Using a combination of diplomacy, veiled threats, and appeals to the stability and profit she offered, she ensured the Grand Confederation did not collapse. Instead of just inheriting her husband's fleet, she took undisputed control of the entire alliance. Under her sole leadership, the Confederation didn't just survive, it expanded into the largest pirate armada in human history. Her forces swelled to over 1,800 ships and 80,000 pirates. To put that in perspective, this was a naval force larger than many national navies of the time, including the entire Spanish Armada that had threatened England centuries earlier. But what made her truly terrifying and effective wasn't just the size of her fleet, it was her discipline. Qing Shi understood that an army of outlaws was useless without order, so she created a strict, non-negotiable code of laws. The code was absolute. Any pirate who gave his own command or disobeyed one from a superior was to be captured and beheaded on the spot. No one could question the authority of the leadership. She revolutionized the handling of plunder. Previously, pirates would keep what they could grab. Under Qing Shi's law, all loot had to be presented for group inspection. The pirate who seized the goods received 20%, while the remaining 80% was placed into a collective treasury. This communal storehouse was used to fund repairs, purchase supplies, and support the entire fleet, ensuring its long-term viability. Stealing from this common fund was a capital offense. Desertion was met with brutal punishment. Anyone who abandoned the fleet would be hunted down and their ears would be cut off, but her laws also extended to the treatment of captives, particularly women. The rape of a female captive was punishable by immediate execution. If a pirate had consensual relations with a captive, he too was beheaded, and the woman would have cannonballs chained to her legs and be thrown overboard. If a pirate wished to take a captive as his wife, he was required to be faithful to her. Unfaithfulness was, again, a capital crime. While incredibly harsh, these rules were designed to maintain discipline, prevent internal conflict, and in a strange way, protected captives from the worst abuses common in piracy. With her fleet disciplined and organized, Qing Shi unleashed a new level of naval strategy. Her pirates knew the coastline, the tides, and the weather patterns intimately. They used their smaller, faster junks to swarm larger, more cumbersome naval vessels. They would use decoys to lure enemy fleets into ambushes, feign retreats to break enemy formations, and use the cover of night or fog to launch surprise attacks. Her dominance became so absolute that the Qing dynasty's imperial navy was powerless against her. In 1808, the government launched a major offensive to eradicate the Red Flag fleet. It was a disaster. Qing Shi's forces not only defeated the imperial fleet, but captured 63 of its ships, incorporating them into her own armada. The government was humiliated. Desperate, the Chinese government sought help from the Western powers in Macau and Canton, the Portuguese, and the British. They too saw Qing Shi's pirates as a threat to their lucrative trade. They agreed to form a joint blockade. Yet even this powerful alliance couldn't stop her. In a series of brilliant engagements, Qing Shi broke their blockade, outmaneuvered their warships, and continued her reign of terror. Having established military supremacy, Qing Shi built a functioning state on the water. She controlled trade routes, blockading rivers and strangling commerce at will. Coastal villages and inland towns were forced to pay her for protection. Merchants who wanted their cargo to pass safely through her territory had to buy a safe passage certificate. She was no longer just a pirate, she was a de facto government, collecting taxes and issuing documents. She had created a shadow empire that rivaled the Qing in its own waters. By 1810, the Qing emperor was out of options. His navy was shattered, his allies were ineffective, and his treasury was being drained by a war he could not win. Realizing they could never defeat her by force, the government did something unprecedented. They offered her amnesty. They negotiated. Initially, they sent envoys to Chengpo Tsai, but Qing Shi rejected the terms. The government wanted her pirates to surrender, kneel, and give up their ships and wealth. Qing Shi would have none of it. She knew her value. So she did something incredibly bold. Unarmed and accompanied only by a delegation of women and children, she sailed directly into the Governor-General's palace in Canton to negotiate for herself. It was a masterful power play, demonstrating she feared no one. She negotiated one of the most successful surrender deals in history. Qing Shi retired with full honors. She was allowed to keep all of her ill-gotten wealth. Her pirates were pardoned, and many were even offered positions in the imperial bureaucracy and military. Chengpo Tsai was made a lieutenant in the Qing Navy and given his own command. And in a final symbolic victory, she demanded the government officially sanction her marriage to Chengpo Tsai, legitimizing their union. The Pirate Queen had won. She walked away from a life of crime, not in chains, but as a wealthy, respected, and legitimate noblewoman. Qing Shi settled in Canton, the city where her story began. She used her vast fortune to invest in various businesses. Some accounts say she ran a large salt trading operation. Others claim, perhaps ironically, that she opened a gambling house and brothel. She died peacefully in 1844 at the age of 69, a wealthy and successful businesswoman surrounded by her family. Her legacy is staggering. While names like Blackbeard and Calico Jack commanded a handful of ships and a few hundred men for a couple of years, Qing Shi commanded thousands of vessels and tens of thousands of followers for over a decade. She built a military and economic force that brought an empire to its knees. She was a prostitute who became a commander, a pirate who became a noble, a woman who dominated one of the most violent and male-dominated professions in history. Qing Shi didn't just conquer the South China Sea. She conquered her circumstances, defied every expectation, and lived to tell the tale, dying not by the sword, but in peace and prosperity. She remains, without question, the most powerful pirate who ever lived. Thank you for watching Chronicles of Mysterious Tales. Please like, subscribe, and share my channel. And as always, I appreciate you.